Hey guys, Chef Jojo here with ECO, bringing you another episode of Shift Drink. And tonight we're going to talk about all those things you should know before you become a chef over a drink. Have you ever wanted to go back and talk to that Michelin star struck chef of 20 years ago? Or are you just starting out and you have no idea what you're in store for? Well, there's all these lists out there on the internet talking about what it's like to be a chef and why you shouldn't become a chef and how hard it is. So I decided to compile my own list of 20 things what you should know before you become a chef. And we're going to talk about those. All right, list from the top. Number 1, 60 hours a week. That's a part-time job. If you're actually working 60 hours a week, before you know it, you're going to be looking for another job so you can fill up those other 40 hours. You're going to work 80 to 100 hours a week, and you're going to get used to it and like it. Number 2, swear like a sailor. You're going to drop more F-bombs and MFs at a Starbucks in the morning than it would be at a Def Jam comedy session. Number 3, friends won't understand. They're not going to understand why you work for 100 hours a week, you don't get any days off, and you love it. That's it. No comprehension. Number 4, sunset, sunrise. Better pick one or the other because you're not going to see both. Most of the time, your light source is going to come from a fluorescent bulb. Number 5, bad habits. You're going to have one, at least one, if not more. You're either going to smoke, you're going to either drink, or you're going to do both, or you're going to use bad language, or you're going to have coffee, Red Bull, cigarettes, you name it, you're going to try it. Number 6, eat standing up. When you have family meal or employee meal, you're going to be standing up over a trash can, woofing it down as fast as possible. If not, you're sitting on a milk crate behind the restaurant next to a stinky garbage can trying to woof it down because you got to get back in the kitchen. Number 7, you don't cook at home. Absolutely not. And if you do cook at home, it's either going to be ramen or instant mac and cheese or a bowl of cereal. And you're going to try to keep it as efficient as possible. You're only going to use one pot and one spoon. That's it. Number 8, you're going to stink to high heaven. After a good shift at a restaurant, every food you can imagine is just basically going to permeate into your skin, into your clothes, into your hair. And then you're basically going to start sweating, and it's going to be like this nice little funk you got going on. Number 9, no matter how tired you are during your shift, when the restaurant actually closes, you're going to get a burst of energy that's going to take you out into the wee hours of the morning. And the next day, you can't use a hangover as an excuse. That's unacceptable in our business. Number 10, lose all old friends. It's bound to happen. They're not A, going to understand why you do what you do, and B, your schedule is going to be completely different than theirs. And it's going to be months before you talk to them again. And you won't even know it happened. Number 11, physically bad shape. I can't tell you how many ongoing consistent injuries that we carry all the time. You're going to have a bad back, bad knees, your feet are going to hurt, your hands are going to hurt. You're always going to have like a cut or an open sore somewhere on your body. Number 12, no matter what you do, you're always going to hear the ticket machine when you sleep. After a long night on the weekends, you're going to lay down, close your eyes, and then that machine is going to haunt you. And if it's not the machine and it's not while you're sleeping, when you're in a quiet room and you're all alone, you're going to hear this constant buzzing in your ears because you spent the last 20 years underneath a hood and your ears are just used to it. Number 13, you're going to use kitchen terminology all the time. And half the people that you talk to will have no idea what you're talking about. Your refrigerator in your house is going to be called a cooler. The pantry is dry storage. And you're going to say things like all day. And your family's going to actually understand what you mean. 14, you're going to work sick. Get used to it. It's almost expected. Doesn't matter if you have a fever or doesn't matter. You come in when you're sick. You have to be sent home. It's like a badge of courage or honor. 15, holidays. Yeah, you're going to work on holidays, weekends, and nights. And if you do get a holiday off, you're not going to know what to do with yourself because your new family, your friends, all work in the restaurant business, and they're working. Number 16, you're your own worst critic. You're only as good as your last plate, and every time you make a plate, you know that you could have done it better. Yet, you're harshly judged, and you have really, really thick skin, but it's just a very interesting dichotomy inside the kitchen, how you can be your own worst critic and yet people still scrutinize your work constantly. 17. You're either cash poor or cash rich. It just depends on how many hours that week that you worked. So you're going to work a bunch of OT, you're going to get a lot of money, and then you're going to blow it. 18. Days off. On your days off, you're going to try to sleep, pay bills, and do laundry. And you never have 2 days off in a row. And if you do, you're completely out of sorts when you get back to work. You almost feel like you had a month off. It's crazy. Number 19. You are going to become so politically incorrect and socially awkward, it's going to kind of scare you because you won't recognize yourself after it's all done in your career. The only time that you're going to feel comfortable when you go to a party is when you're in the kitchen. That's where you feel safe. And I don't know when it happens or how it happens. Some of us start out that way, but you always feel like, we're in a living room. I wonder what's going on in the kitchen. And you find yourself in the kitchen. It's just the way it goes. So that's 19. You might be asking yourself, what's 20? So 20 is, if none of this scares you and you actually feel like you're up for the task, then you're going to have an amazing career in our industry. Over the past 17 or 20 years, when I look back on my career, the good definitely outweighs the bad, and there's a lot of bad. I know that as servers, bartenders, managers, and cooks, we all get it. We know what we go through, and we kind of surround ourselves with each other and say, yeah, I know where you're coming from. You know, I really enjoyed sharing this list with you. I know a lot of it has to do with being a line cook and coming up through it on your path to becoming a chef. But if I left anything out or something that I missed or something that's important to you, please comment below. I love reading your comments. Also, if you get a chance, please subscribe. And if you've subscribed already, be sure you hit the bell. That way you get a notification that we uploaded a video. You can always follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or Twitter. And as always, I'm Chef JoJo. Thanks for joining for another episode of Shift Drink. Cheers.